Welcome back, everybody. It's been great having a wee break for Easter there. J-Mac's been on a big boat. You didn't crash into any icebergs?
Not as far as I'm aware, unless I'm in some different plane of existence now. But
Well,
no, I think everything went fine. The worst thing about the cruise is people's inability to understand how queues work. I mean, we're Scottish, the British. We like to pride ourselves on our ability to queue and stand in queues, but some just didn't at all. I was close to kicking people a few times, but I didn't. I held myself back. I'm a very good at self control at this point.
self-control, says the guy that farts 400 times a day.
But I
Before he
mean
even
to I
noticed.
mean to do that. There's no
Fair play, fair play. So tonight's episode is one that we've really been looking forward to. J-Mac and I have always been into the weird and wonderful and the search for something beyond this realm of existence. Almost, do you know? I do. If I lose my words, I'm heavy medicated. I've done my backing, I think. So I do apologise.
You're getting old, John. You're getting old.
I'm on my way. So yeah, it's actually quite serendipitous that Dr. Christopher Macklin, sorry, J-Mac Christopher Mack. There's a thing there, right? It's actually it's great. It's quite serendipitous that we found each other because it's been a while since we've had a good chat about UFOs. The thing as well that Christopher also specializes in AI and some other stuff that I don't even know about, right? And I consider myself someone that, like, if you bring something up like the Anunnaki, do you know what that is, J-Mac?
Yes,
No, you don't.
I do.
What's the Anunnaki?
It's the all powerful alien race that's been running things since the beginning, or something
well,
like that.
Well, we're going to find out. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Christopher Macklin, PhD. How's it going, Christopher?
Yay, great question. Thanks for having me.
No, it's absolutely
Wonderful
our
to be
pleasure. It's actually, I don't even know where to begin, because kind of the stuff I've read on you, it's like a full. You've obviously been doing this for some time. You maybe want to tell us basically how you got into it. What was your first instance of either it be paranormal or the weird and wonderful?
Well, it's interesting. It started when I was 4. So I was lying in my bed one night and there was this like reptilian thing. I mean, it was like a dinosaur thing, like 10 feet tall, standing in the corner of the room. And I'm going, oh, this is not good. Dad, there's a reptilian. But I called it a dinosaur. There's a dinosaur thing in the corner of the room. He comes running. Where? You know, where? I can't see it. Oh, just a bad dream. And it was there. It was a little bit snarly. And I thought, I've got to get out of my room. So I just put all my mind, said, get out of my bedroom. It went. Oh, that worked. And so I had a few other visitations as well. And then I could see craft in the sky. Oh, Dad, there's a craft in the sky. Where? No, you're just dreaming. You know, you've got a great imagination, you know. After a bit, I kind of realized that I can see stuff people don't see. So anyway, so time went on, of course. Then you finish school. Then I, worked in the civil service, doing fourth-line repair, got a degree, got a master's degree at Cranfield. And then I got top-paying jobs, but I was looking at things. I didn't work well in corporate. I call it bullshit, but it's probably a strong word.
I feel you.
Yeah. I don't like corporate bullshit. In German, they call it bullshitting, but it's the same thing. So anyway, so I was looking at these things, I was getting piles of money. And in the end, in 2000 and, I think it was 2002 or something, I had this bright idea. I was buying houses, doing them up and then keeping some of them, selling some of them. So I got a portfolio of about 28 houses and then I had this great idea, let's build apartments, So I bought this land for millions of pounds in the centre of Manchester and building 176 apartments. Didn't even realise, oh dear, So anyway, one of the banks phoned me up and they said, 2007, they said, this apartment you're building, they used to be worth 120,000. Now 200,000. Now they're worth like 90, like halved in price. We want our money back. You got 14 days. And I'm going, so that's when life really changed. And I went completely bankrupt, marriage split up, and I was kind of living out of car, for a while, and staying at people's houses, and sometimes people get you a hotel room if you did a healing with them. Traveled all over the world, to India, all over Europe, and then I came to America. And it's interesting because I remember in Birkenhead, near Liverpool, I found a lady who did readings, and so I walked in, small house. She was about 84, probably not around anymore, bless her heart.
Oh.
20 years ago, she said, "Well, got anything? Thank you. She said, "Well, you're gonna move to America. Okay. You're gonna get remarried. Okay. You're gonna work for God and live off donations." What? Oh, look, it arrived. I'm not. She's spot on. Of course, you don't know the timing, but my life has been so. I look back on my life, and you feel like you've had like 5 lifetimes in this lifetime because things change so radically. I don't know what you guys feel like, but anyway. So when I came here in 2010, I came here and I opened an office and build it, they'll come. They didn't. Where are they? Anyway, I remember asking, the Melchizedek. I was born as a Melchizedek being. I'll explain that in a minute. I was asking them, okay, where's everybody? They said it's within. Get out there. Oh, okay. So I went to my first small spiritual place. I was slammed. No one ever knew me. No one ever had a healing off me or nothing. And I was actually slammed. And then, little by little, I built it up. Went to Conscious Life Expo, which is huge expos, and New Life Expos, and these big expos, went all over the United States. And once it got a momentum, now I only do podcasts because of traveling. I'm not too keen on traveling at all at the moment. So, an aircraft because of all the stuff. So, I built it up and, started developing. I meditated. When I was bankrupt, I was on Social Security in England. And I meditated for about 4 years, really understanding cause and effect. Because one thing I've learned is if you have a gift, it's a gift. How do you use it? The answer is you've got to understand how the universe works and what the cause and effects of like cancers and different things, so that you can actually treat the primary secondary cause, and then the tumor is just a symptom. So very interesting. So it's been an interesting life. But along the way, I dealt with aliens. I clear people of these things you were talking about: Anunnaki, Draconians, Luciferians, snake being, you name it, that they attach to you, and they really affect people's bodies, So we clear those, but I also do psychic surgery, things like tumors that we can break them down, use a particular type of energy. It's so diverse. And then I got into, of course, nanotechnology, Morgellons disease, and now the stuff that's in it's crazy. The amount of knowledge, you just keep going, and I love it because I'm like a sponge. I don't know what you guys, but I love being A, amongst people who know what to talk about, and B, sharing as well. So, and have the experiences with alien beings. So,
I'm kind of like a sponge, but I'm a sponge that sucks it in, and then someone wrings it out, and then leaves it at the side. That's me. Like, I take it all in, but then when it comes to repeating, I'm like, J-Mac, what's that thing called again?
Well, it's funny because I've written 6 books and I've got severe dyslexia, And I remember, when I was writing my first book, it was called The History, Truth and Healing. Sorry, not that one. Sorry. What was it called? The
Sacred Prayers?
No, it's not on there because we're updating.
Oh, is it not? Right.
What's it called? The divine. It's basically divine healing, how it works, and dissolving the enigma of divine healing. So right, let's get ready. Gone. Where's the information? I just went blank. So okay, we're not going to be doing that. Let's get Dragon Naturally Speaking. So I bought that, and I started speaking into it. I was talking about Zeta Grade. It came up with Have a Nice Day and all that sort of thing. So that's not working either. So then I decided to employ a ghostwriter. So on Skype, what I was doing is putting the headset on, walking around for an hour and a half, 2 hours a day, dictating. And I'm kind of the same as you, Kevin. I'm kind of, I know the stuff, but trying to express it out is very difficult. So she, I mentioned something. Well, what do you mean by that? And she would drag it out of you, and then put it in the book. It was great, So really interesting.
Nice.
So the Just, I don't know how easy it is to explain this, but the kind of act of, like you said, breaking down and dissolving tumors using certain energies. I mean, how does that work, and how did you learn it?
By meditation, the thing is I've learned is everyone's gifts are different. So I see people like, oh, let's do Reiki, let's do this, let's do that. That's fine, but your gift might not work the same. You have different instruments available. So one is meditating. They said, we've got a thing called space-time continuum energy in the ultimate dimension, which is where I'm from. And I believe it or not, I was spliced in at birth. There's some different things about my body. My heart's very large. In fact, I had a scan one. There's, oh my God, you got end-stage heart failure. Nah, it's okay. Liver's very large as well. And I think it's because of the amount of work I do with emotion. It can affect you, both your heart, liver, and different things. And so I think, whatever. But, body's slightly different. Of course, a lot of people with different blood types, like A negative, O negative, mine's O negative, it's actually alien DNA. So what they do is Arcturians and Melchizedek in particular, and some other races like Andromedans, if they want to come down in the human race, you can't get their soul in without having enough DNA of that race. Otherwise, the body's not compatible. So what they do is they either abduct your mother, or and they either take the egg or the sperm, and put an egg in, and they'll splice enough genetics in to be able to get your soul through. You see what I mean?
Janice. Janice is American as well. Janice is where's Janice from? Indiana?
I always forget, and that really annoys me.
I think it's Indiana because it reminds me.
I think it
Indiana
is.
Jones, So here's the thing.
Well, I'm in Missouri. I'm in Missouri,
so no far then.
It's in the same country.
One thing I learned. Well, yeah, the same country. One thing I learned from you is if you want to drive anywhere, you're talking about 15, 20 hours or 30. It's crazy.
Damn.
When you're in the UK, you can get to London from Chester in like 3.5, 4 hours, depending on the traffic. But here, if you're going anywhere, you need to be planning like quite a journey. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, I did 7 hours yesterday from Southampton to home.
You drove?
Yeah, I drove.
Oh, what?
And I drove down to Southampton for the cruise. So yeah, a lot of driving. But the cruise made up for it. It was lovely.
Yeah, but that's like us going around the corner 7 hours. It's like,
I know.
Goodness Prestos.
Prestos. It's a blast from the past.
For sure.
So tell me a bit more about your experience as a kid seeing this thing in your room for the first time.
Most people start off with seeing like a ghost, but John Hammond's straight in with the dinosaurs.
John Hammond.
Honestly, there's a dinosaur thing, honestly. I mean, but what's interesting, I knew it was real because you can feel its energy. When you get that really dark feel out, wow, this is not good. I could feel the energy in the age of 4. But I did learn, the rules of the universe, if you command it to leave, command it with enough authority, it has to leave. That's the keys of Enoch. So
tried that with a wife. Did not work. I think that's the only thing in this universe that's like, no.
Yeah. The keys of Enoch don't apply to your wife.
That's the keys of She-Knock. She-Knock me the fuck out.
Oh God, that's funny.
Also true. Oh, good. So you say though that your energy and your essentially your might can does it work the opposite way, where like if you can tell them to leave, can you also attract these type of entities?
Oh yeah, the thing is about the key of Enoch, well, if you look at the world as a whole, it's the universe is very specific. So that's why a lot of starseeds are born here. There's probably 400,000 or 500,000 starseeds born. They get attacked because they know that. What are starseeds? Well, they're beings that don't need to come here to learn. They're beings that have volunteered. And I keep saying to people, look, if God says I want volunteers, pretend you've got diarrhea, run to the bathroom, lock the door, and don't come out until the volunteers are taken, because this is a tough old planet to come to. I mean, I love it, but and then when you come out, oh, sorry, God, maybe next time. But we volunteered to come down here, starseed people. And there's a lot of people, they're really attacked by these Anunnaki and these beings, and it's it's difficult to get your power. Once you've got your power, I mean, to me, we've got a book on prayers. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's maps of intent. I don't like the word prayer, but it says sacred maps of intent. But a map of intent really is just commanding something to happen. And if you put enough power behind it, it does happen. It taught me a lot.
That's the what you call it, see how I said I was a sponge that knows stuff, but then when it goes to say it, this is one of those times. When you send something to the universe, the laws of attraction, the same type of thing. Is that, yeah.
Oh yeah, but what you exactly want, you'll exactly get. So I remember doing a teaching. We've got sacred geometry, a teaching for using angelic writing to manifest, and it's basically using a pentagram. People say, "Oh, it's pagan." Well, it depends how you use it, and what you do with it. It's a vibrational star with 5 pyramids. If you put writing around those 5 pyramids, now the Illuminati use Luciferian symbology, and they manifest from Lucifer, who's not a good person. But if you manifest from God, with angelic writing, then what happens is, the writing, for example, of Magi is angelic writing. So when you actually put, who, what do you want? Who, what, where, when, why, and you burn it and release it. People got their stuff, and I was doing a teach on this. And anyway, we burnt them, and it's a start to manifestation. What happens later on is that when you get in abundance, which means that you've released all your emotion, you've taken your power back, and you surrendered. Which means surrender means God's got your back. Don't have to worry about anything. I don't worry about money. I don't worry about anything. It's always taken care of, and the accountants always laughs, because she came up with the tax returns last Friday, and she said, do you want to read them? I said, no. And she laughed. She said, you're not interested, are you? I said, no, can you just file them? And she's always laughing. She said, you can't stand accounts, can you? No, don't do them. They do all the accounts. All I do is the healing. I've got IT people doing the IT. Can I do it? Yeah. Do I want to do it? Absolutely not. Do I want to do the accounts? Don't we think? Oh no, so I leave everyone to everything. We've got 8 staff, and I just do healings all day, and I just devote my time to this work, and I love it. It really is
living the dream, huh? So with the Illuminati, so let's focus on that for a second, okay? Because when I first found out what the Illuminati was, or at least what I had kind of researched at the time of maybe 18 years old, right? The Illuminati to me was what the dudes that jump about eating kids, like praying around an owl, and they essentially control the world to that effect. So my question to you is, we are seeing now that people like P. Diddy is outed, and guys like Jay-Z and all the people we assumed were devil worshippers, the Illuminati, right? And you're seeing it in mainstream right now. They're all doing it's like
the old CI.
Right, if that wasn't true, why is it every Super Bowl is like a devil worship? You know what I mean? All these big stars are forever doing the symbolism for it.
Oh yeah,
it's almost right in front of our faces. And am I right in saying that the purpose of the Illuminati right now is to create a one world government and like wipe out half the population?
Absolutely.
That's scary.
The problem is, I think, they're losing. I mean, that owl thing is part of Bohemian Grove. The way this works, the main part of it is the Masonic Lodge. I mean, it's huge. It's all over the world. So you join it, you become first degree Mason. Seems okay, good for business. And you get to 10 degrees, and then they say, "Oh, right, you're going to worship Lucifer." Well, who the heck's Lucifer? Oh, Lucifer's light. So get worshiping Lucifer. Okay. And once you after 10 degrees, they summon some things like the dogs of war, different things like spirits, scare the crap out of people so that they won't leave. And they say, if you leave, you're going to get in a box. So, all you guys out there, if you're in the Masonic Lodge, just make sure you're okay with Lucifer, and doing all this strange stuff, because after 10 degrees, you're not getting out. And most of the police force are in it, all the government people are in it, it's in. So then you get up to 33 degrees. That's the top of the Masonic Lodge. After that is 34 to 37 degrees, which goes to Bohemian Grove. And they're like 36-degree Masons are people like Obama and all, the guy who can't speak in this country, what's his name? Being a nursing home, and it's interesting because, and 37-degree Masons are people like the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, the people with all the big money, so Bilderbergs, and they control the whole thing, but they're still puppets. So who's in charge of the whole thing? That would be the reptilians underneath the planet, the Anunnaki, Draconians. They're way more powerful. Everyone thinks, oh my God, the one world order. Get rid of the one world order, great, but it's all going to happen again. Why is that? Because you've got reptilian elements like the Anunnaki, Draconians, Luciferians. Luciferians are all connected to the Vatican. It's Lucifer stuff, and it's all part of the Masonic Lodge. So they worship Lucifer, but it's all satanic. Tells you everything you need to know. So really, until you get rid of those beings, it's just going to keep cycling around.
How does this type of information get out when it's all supposed to be kept under such heavy wrapping?
I think it's just whistleblowing bit by bit. I mean, I can remote view, and they've got loads of dumbs. I mean, they feed kids to these reptilian things because they've agreed that they won't come up as long as you feed it. So that's why millions and millions of children go missing a year. And of course, the symbology for Luciferian and all this is drinking blood, adrenochrome. And adrenochrome's obviously from tortured kids. It's just horrible. People think, it doesn't happen in America, it doesn't happen in the UK. Oh, yeah, it does, absolutely. And it's been happening for thousands of years, but...
David Icke talks a lot about that.
Oh, yeah.
And you look at yourself, you go, how's Tom Cruise never aged in all those years? It's like...
Oh, it's the adrenaline. Okay. Yeah. Well, people just don't believe it. It's like with all this, global warming, the world's actually cooling off, they keep going about global warming. I mean, and then they're putting all this stuff in the sky, the chemtrails with the nanotech and everything else, altering the weather with the HARP. They've now got a mobile HARP thing. It's absolutely huge. I don't know if you see the picture of it.
You know what's funny is like, see if you were to sit in a bar right now and say, by the way, the government actually do spray this stuff into the atmosphere in order to control the weather. People go, ha ha ha, aye, okay, guy's crazy. They're literally telling you on the government website that they're fucking doing it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like it's not even fake. They are doing it.
Yeah.
They've told us that they're doing it.
They're saying it's geoengineering because the world's getting, it needs cooling off and we need to block the sun and It's just absolutely amazing. It really is amazing. And
I'm going back to old style light bulbs. These energy saving ones are pointless.
It's always interesting. It's quite terrifying, really, when you think of it, right? Because, well, when I look at it this way, I always think to myself, okay, so say there's all these different types of beings. Because for one, I'm the type of dude that, like, unless I've seen it, I can take someone's word for it. I mean, I believe you just as much as I believe anybody about anything. You know what I mean? I always would give the respect to anybody telling me anything. And then I'll say, okay, unless I have reason not to believe, then I'm not going to. So if you told me we all live on a big giant pretzel, right? I'm going to go, well, that's come from somewhere. So I'll take that and put it in the basket and leave it to the possibility, right? But there are things that are like, so when you say there are reptilians, right, and all these different types of beings, I always think, okay, well, I've not seen them, right? But when you think about our existence, I mean, we only know a couple generations for sure, right? So we don't really know what was before that. And when you consider the fact that we know more about space than we do about our own seas, right? I cannot get behind the idea that there's not stuff like reptilians and stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say, oh, okay, there's definitely these lizard folk kicking about in top hats like Inspector Gadget, right? But to say that nothing like that exists and to just completely be arrogant to it and then not really truly know anything, for me, I can't actually, you know what I mean? I can't actually just dismiss everything. I've got someone like I say, I'm open to all ideas. So I listen. I basically listen more than I ever put my 2 pence in, right, and try and prove something. I'll more just listen to everybody's argument. And I listen to a lot of the people, and I know J-Mac is going to roll his eyes, saying about, well, the Earth is not necessarily flat, but it can't be a globe because here are all these reasons. Now, every single time that I've watched someone who will say, I disagree that the Earth is a globe, they always say, well, why? And they say, well, because I tried to once prove that it was, and I couldn't, right? And my question to you really is, where do you stand on that? And does that kind of come in? Because it would kind of marry up with the other stuff, because if we are essentially prisoners to any other types of being, you would want to enclose these prisoners, right? And I suppose...
Well, that's what they've done. Yeah. I mean, that's why, I see planet Earth, if you look, at a 40,000-foot view, as a lot bigger than it really is. So how do they get around that? And I think what they've done, well, I know what they've done, is they've put a firmament around part of it. So we're stuck in part of it, but you can't get out. And they always talk about the ice wall. If you go through the ice wall, you can't get back. I think because, you're in the other part of the planet, he wants to come back into the, in quotes, Hunger Games. We're in the Hunger Games, and they also create planets that create different stuff that's not quite true. So it's almost like having a cover over the whole part of the planet. That's why I think people think it's flat. I don't think it's completely round, but, I don't think it's completely flat either. But I think part of it, the part we're on probably looks flat because, because of this firmament around it, really interesting. I mean, and we're only seeing part of the landmass. The rest of it, it's probably 2.5 times the size that we think it is.
I always kind of weigh it up. Within my own head, I go, right, okay, let's look at the for and against, okay? And I think, well, there's one space station, and that's it, right? So there's one source telling you everything, yeah? And
Exactly,
NASA,
yeah.
right? Germans. Right? So it's NASA. So I don't know, I'm not saying either this or that. I know that what we've been told all our life, but I've also learned more so in the last 15 years that the majority of everything I'm ever told is a load of shite, and it serves a narrative of some kind. So I'm less trusting of the words spoken by indoctrination than I ever was.
Oh, yeah. In fact, what you should do is the opposite. If they tell you to do something like, don't paint your house with lead paint, well, it blocks EMF, so, but it's killing children, so they ban lead paint, so you shouldn't smoke. Well, the cigarettes, the manufactured ones are really bad for you because they've got formaldehyde, all horrible stuff. But if you get pure ones, they actually help you. Why is that? Because they stop these pathogens and stuff binding in the body. So nicotine, we have a nicotine gene that you do need some nicotine. I mean, whether you have patches or whatever, it doesn't matter. But it really helps with these pathogens they're developing to stop from binding in the body. So it's interesting.
Yeah. No, I'm always interested to. I mean, the Anunnaki was a new one for me. I actually hadn't heard a lot about that until like the last year or so. The thing is, so me just being a normal dude, I've never experienced any lizard folk or Anunnaki or whatever. So my direct experience is that I'm taking it on word that these were or are a thing. I have seen a lot of different theories and as to why things like the pyramids, like these things were built but were never able to be built again in the same way, because essentially, and this kind of feeds into what you talk about with the AI, maybe the society that was before us was probably far more advanced than what we are, and then something happened. And what do you think it was that happened? AI?
Yeah, well, the last fall was Atlantis, and basically what happened is they got all the technology, same sort of thing, and the people in charge, they were doing the same thing. And then the Martians tried to take over this planet, and then, Atlantis fell. And so all the technology was lost, so you start again. And I mean, history's been so badly rewritten that, you can't believe anything from history, It's all a pile of nonsense. I mean, the Queen of England, she was reptilian. But she was a shapeshifter, so they can shift out of reptilian shape into human shape, and then they can shift back. And
the Queen probably. Sorry, it was just like see for someone that was a queen. She never had good patter. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
See for someone like that. Like if I was a king, I'd be like, yo, I'd speak to folk. You know what I mean? I always
Oh, yeah.
thought that the Queen was just like, yo, I'm kicking about my wee hat, no saying much. That's
Yeah.
suspicious.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, they also were involved with all this child stuff, going on.
Oh, that's a fact.
Horrible.
Do you know
Oh,
J
yeah.
Mac's wife met the Queen? You know that? So
Really?
J Mac, your
Yeah,
wife,
very, very briefly, but she did. She didn't
What
report
did she-
anything out of the ordinary.
Well, we've got a map of intent or a prayer. If you think someone, because if they're shapeshifter, I had a reptilian girl shapeshifter. I didn't realize it, and she was mean as hell. I said, "No, why are you so mean?" Anyway, I said this prayer, and it goes like this: you ground yourself. You say, "I am of God. I ground myself to the earth. Dear God, show this person in their true form." And what happens is you get an overlay of like an opaque reptilian. They can't hide from it. Really interesting. So if you ever feel like someone's really dark and might be a reptilian or something, just say that prayer over them, and it'll show them. They won't go back to the reptilian form, but you'll see honestly an opaque overlay of what their true shape is. But they actually go from the fourth to third dimension, so they can switch out of it. They can do dimensional shapeshifting, and same with the Luciferians. That's why these things walk around. They're in the same space but different time, so that's why they can attach to you. And you might think, well, isn't that manipulative? The biggest question I always get is, well, why are they allowed to manipulate, or why doesn't God intervene? The answer is because before you come down, they show you this is what happens on planet Earth. The reptilians, this, that, and the other, and you come down and you have to learn how to manage them. So that's education. So what's the difference between education and violation? Well, violation is like the Greys. The government signing a deal with the Greys, saying, the Grey reticula because they destroyed their planet. We'll give you technology if we can steal your people and steal their eggs and sperm, so we can create new reticular hybrids. You see what I mean? So that's a violation. So taking someone that's someone else assigned to say you can take my body and steal my sperm or steal bits of your body, that's a violation. And I was at one of the meetings.
Sorry, see if I was a grey, right? And this is for any of the greys that are listening. just break into a sperm bank. It's literally all bottled up for you. Like, they don't even need to steal anyone. Mic drop. Right?
That's quite true.
Right?
It's quite true, actually.
It would make more sense, eh? I am so just purely from the way you're talking, you definitely have navigated essentially every topic that we could ever look at. Like, 'cause for me, like, I'm kind of torn whether or not, like, so obviously whatever's out there within this galaxy, or whatever it is, or within this space, right? It would be stubborn of me to go, nah, we're the only thing, right? I do believe that the government, like, if we see a UFO attack or an alien invasion in the next 10 years, it's definitely not happening, because I believe that right up until the point the government told me it was real, right? Because if the government are telling you it's real, then the government are using it for a specific reason. And I think that's where AI comes in. Did you see the drone, right? That could, it was sitting there and it just went, pew, like, at such a fast speed. And this was just a drone that was, of our technology, but we had never used it yet. So you think, how long has the government been using AI? Because we're now able to dip our toe in AI, right? But how long has that been around, and how long has the government been using it? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, well, they've reversed engineered craft. I mean, the craft are steered with a mind, because if craft goes so fast, I mean, they can travel probably faster than the speed of light. If they go so fast, you can't steer it and get away from things. You need, quantum computers working faster than that to navigate, so you can actually get out of the way of things.
Mm-hmm.
It's all quantum traveling and different things like this. So it's amazing. They have the technology, but a lot of it is down, in Antarctica, and that's why they don't allow you to go down there, because all the big firms like Raytheon and DARPA and all these people, they've got the technology. They've had it for many years.
There was a guy that got done in because he was out, like, he was investigating under the water. There was a video that surfaced and I saw it. There's like a documentary which has been banned from TV, and he's kicking about underwater, and he essentially sees like another part of the sea, where he goes up to the corals, and it's like once you enter through that, it takes you to like a different type of place. And he spoke about it in great detail, and then took a shotgun to the back of his head, or something to that effect. You know what I mean? It's always the case. I find that there's too much. And here's another thing as well for anybody that's skeptical. I know J-Mac's probably more skeptic than me. I can believe quite a lot of stuff, right? But there's a lot of this that when you look into it, really, it's all grounded in fact. A lot of it's fact, and isn't like, obviously I can't say for sure that there's reptilians kicking about and that the Queen could shapeshift. I don't know that for a fact, but what I do know for a fact is that there was some sketchy stuff going on with her family when you trace it back. Like, for example, I mean, I know it's not the exact same, but when the Titanic sunk, the very next day the Federal Reserve came into play, which was JP Morgan who got the ball rolling on that, which was also the same guy that owned the Titanic, that also had his own family vacate the Titanic before it went.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
I'm not,
absolutely.
I'm not,
what a surprise.
All right, I'm not saying that it was an inside job. All I'm saying is those are facts, whether you choose to look at that or not. Is there such a thing as coincidence these days? And it's funny that every time something tends to happen that changes the course of our world, just was a wee coincidence there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So that's my outlook on when I look at everything. So I've got a question for you here, right? What is God to you, or to everyone, like from your understanding, from where your position is? What is God? Is it a being? Is it someone? Is it a man?
I think it's everything. I mean, to me, God is everywhere and everything. It's all part of, a creation process. Is it a man? I don't think. I think it's a very balanced, masculine, feminine instrument that is created everywhere. I mean, I always define God as God, goddess, prime creator of all that is. So, but there's definitely something operating this, because there's got to be something who created it. You know what I mean? Somewhere or something.
And the thing about that is we're made too perfect. And I don't mean that as in like we are perfect. What I mean is like we're made in a way that the way that, and there's probably really good scientific reasoning behind this, right? But when you look at it, we are made like we were made by a creator. For example, like a cow farts and it, or a cow does a toilet, and it then just so happens to be the correct thing the soil needs in order to grow something that then a bee will come and land on that, which just so happens to need. Do you know what I mean? The ecosystem works so perfect.
Yeah, it's so like, well balanced.
Everything.
But if you look at your body,
yeah.
If you look at your body, if you take all your clothes off, and this is not being weird, it's just get a full length mirror and stand there for 30 minutes, because we always brush our hair, rush around. Stand there for 30 minutes and think about every single thing in that body of yours. You think, oh my God, what an amazing stuff. Lungs, all the, ligaments, tendons, brain, eyes, ears, for ladies that got a womb, which is creation. You look at it, you think, God, it's an amazing instrument. It makes a car look like, nothing, compared with what's in our body. And they still don't understand our body. They understand bits of it. That's why I always say, they always say doctors practice medicine. They're having a go, but they're not doing it. They're just, let's have a go and see what we can do. That's why I see crazy stuff, in the medical industry.
When you look at that, right? So we're obviously with the understanding of God, and that if we were created perfect, you say, well, what's our purpose? And there is the whole, well, we're batteries to power something else. Because see, when you look at it, right, everything that evolved throughout the evolution process, whatever they evolved from no longer exists, but I see plenty of monkeys. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, I'm probably way wrong on this, and there's probably a Kieran sitting somewhere going, it's because of this, you idiot, right? Probably. But this is just where my mind goes, and I'm all right with that. But you know what I mean? I just think are we not far superior, like intellectually, to have just went, whoops, we were a monkey gone wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I believe so, and I think
it kind of feels like we're planted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're pretty intelligent beings, but we also have love. A lot of these beings, like the grey reticulate, have no love. They're just they have no empathy. They're just very robotic, And
I know people like that as well. You do get them.
Well, yeah, you do get them. Yeah.
That's one person I need to check and see the actual form. Craig Matthewman says, do you think we'll ever meet aliens in our lifetime? And if we did, would they be on ice or big, slimy, evil things?
That's like, I think it depends what you manifest. I mean, there's angelic beings around. There's a whole slew of beings helping us. There's Palladians, there's Arcturians, Lemurians, Atlantarians, Andromedans, Lyrians, and then you've got the Melchizedek. Now, there's 5 Melchizedek beings here. I was born as one of them, so I spliced in. I've not met one of them, but the other ones I've met, and we're here to do a job, and the job is actually bringing some off-planet pyramids down, like they did with the Giza pyramids. They were built by Palladians and stuff, so, but also do healing as well. I mean, by God, who doesn't need healing nowadays? With the state of the world, people are so anxiety-ridden, and so it's kind of crazy. But will we meet them? I think we will. Yeah, definitely. In this lifetime, will we see the bad ones? I think we will as well. I think there's a battle going on, but. What's interesting is the pyramids are huge. One's almost 1,000 feet tall. It's 999.99 feet tall, 666.66 feet tall, 333.33. It's all multiples of God, which is Christ conscious, multiples of 3. Now they're going to be in the golden curve. That the biggest one will be on the ley line, and what it'll do is power this planet up so much. Because one of the problems with this planet, when the Greys came, they brought there what's called black goo. Have you ever heard of black goo?
I've seen it in the X-Files.
Yeah, the black glue is actually at the center of the planet, and actually here, we use it. We suck it out for oil, and people think, oh, it's basically plants squished together. It was created by that. It's not, the actual planet itself is like a living being. So this black goo is regenerated. It's like, if you go and give blood, and your blood's regenerated, so you'll never run out of it. But they brought some of theirs down because they destroyed their planet because of nuclear stuff and everything else. So they brought some of their tumultuous black goo and added it to ours. That's why the planet's vibration has gone a bit wonked right now. And one of the things the pyramid will do is cleanse that black goo of this tumultuous energy, because if it puts so much energy through the ley lines, it'll get right around the planet. You see what I mean? And blow out all the satanic symbology. So that's my job in this lifetime. Although I do, I do so much healing. I work on about 2,000 people a week. It's a lot of work, So, and I love it, So
that's a lot of people. How do you get through so many people in a week?
Well, I've specialized groups. We have 20 on them. We do 5 of them, so that's 100 people. I do one-to-ones Monday afternoon, Tuesday. I have Wednesday off, Thursday and Friday. And then what I also do is I do a general healing group, which is twice a week, and I stream that on everywhere, using StreamYard, and we have it on Zoom as well. And if you have a look, we get about 300 to 400 watchers on Rumble. Then this is each one on Rumble, Facebook, what's left, Telegram, YouTube. We've been kicked off because I'm a serial violator. I thought it was great.
You've been eating all the cereal.
You're a serial violator of the medical misinformation of YouTube. Oh, well, never mind.
And another special K.
One thing I just wanted to ask. Obviously you say you're doing. You're working for God. You mentioned God a few times. A lot of the other things that you talk about seem to fly in the face of the beliefs of most religions. How does that all? Why is it all separated? Like the different religions, and then what you're talking about, the truth with the Anunnaki and things like that. Why is it all separated?
Well, I think because basically they've look at the separation you got now. LGBTQ, all religions, they're all arguing amongst each other. I view religions, it's a conditioned instrument to try and pull you away from other people, create separation in families, mass versus no mass, jab versus no jab, and now they're trying to normalize pedophilia, which is an absolute disgrace. It's just, they're creating so much separation. That's why I live on the planet, but out of the matrix completely. I don't even go shopping anywhere anymore. I just get the stuff delivered. I live amongst the trees. We go to the local pub now and again here in Branson, Missouri, just to meet the mayor, because we know the mayor and the city people and whatever, they're great people. But I don't really, we tend to just have friends over, and friends who can understand you, friends who don't get the fluoride stare when you start talking. You know what I mean?
Because, fluoride stare. I've never heard that before.
Well, we went out some sort of Baptist people once, and they were sitting opposite, and what do you do for a living? I thought, oh no. I do healing. Is it in the name of the Lord? I said, kind of, because I love Jesus' teachings, don't get me wrong, and I love Buddha's teachings. But they were ascended masters. Are they God? No. But they're sons or daughters of God, like you and me are. We're sons of God, And my father even brought that up 2 weeks ago. He said, well, I know you don't like Jesus. Whoa, hang on a minute.
I've never met
I
him.
don't like Jesus. I said, I abide my life by Jesus. I never judge anybody. I said, I work for other people. I do my best for people. That's what Jesus taught. Yeah, I know, but you don't think he's the Son of God. Well, hang on a minute. Of course he's the Son of God. But hang on, aren't you? You're a son of God, and aren't I? And isn't my wife the daughter of God? Everyone's son and daughter of God. Yeah, but he's the Son of God. Oh, so God's got a hierarchy. I didn't realise that. Never mind. I'm changing the subject because he can never, and I'm not trying to get him to win. I'm trying to make him see that this is just ridiculous. It's like Buddha. I mean, Buddha was great. He did meditations. He did lots of stuff. He was ascended master. So was Jesus. So was Babaji. So was Enoch. All these people were gifted in their own way. But, to me, prime creator is prime creator. So, yeah. Interesting.
I could keep me all like, you think, okay, so we were created by the creator, but then who created the creator, and who created the creator's creator? Man, that stuff just gives you a headache.
Well, I just see it as all in everything and everywhere. God's everything, everything. So,
Yeah, Matthewman says Satan gets a bit of a bad rap, to be honest. We only really have God's book, which is a tad one-sided.
Oh, God. Satan. That's so funny. I love that. Oh, my goodness.
Janice says, Jay, I believe it's called petty human crap. And we've got
yeah, absolutely. Petty human crap. I call it blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. In Scotland, we go, away, don't geese any of your shite.
Don't geese any of your shite.
Bobbert says, the biggest reason for separation, in my opinion, is because we have lost respect and removed the core principles of religions, such as psychedelic ceremonies. So, all through history, it's documented. So everybody used to just get up in the trees, pop some acid, and away they would go into the nether realm. Right.
Well, the other thing, though, I don't know if you know, but when they talk about baptism, like with Jesus, they used to cover them with marijuana oil. And when they get really high, they can see the reptilians, they can see the stuff, and then they throw them in the river to wash it off so they don't get too high. That bit's cut out. But it's even like in the Bible. I'm picking on religion now, but I'm just giving an example, like satanic, the satanic things. Think about drinking the blood of Jesus, eating his flesh. Is that satanic? Absolutely. It's a ritual. So you think, well, no, but it's because of the new covenant, because God told them to. No. Have a look at the new covenant. If you go there, he'll go straight back to the Vatican. It's all about sacrifice. So, if people really did their homework, they wouldn't be going to try and nibble on Jesus' blood and drink his flesh. Sorry, the other way around. Drink his blood and eat his flesh. You wouldn't do it because it's satanic, And people are doing that every Sunday, and I'll be like, wow, how dare you? Well, carry on with it. It doesn't matter.
Do you believe?
That's all right. It's just crackers and wine. That's all right.
Yeah.
See so obviously there's, like we say, that everything's kind of created almost too perfect. There's a lot of natural, I wouldn't say herbs, but there's a lot of natural resources on this planet that can take you elsewhere. Like, I've got a friend who says you should try shrooms or whatever, and all different things. And they say, because when you do, right, you experience something so different to what this is, that when you come back, it changes your life forever. And
It does actually, yeah, absolutely.
these things are here for, I think, for those reasons. Like I would imagine, right? I don't know. So I'm 32, and when I was younger, like no one died unless it was your pal's granny's granny, right? No one died. No one died in your school, right? No one died in your high school. Then people died. They started dying, and then depression become such a big thing, right? Where it's now like now so many people, and I think a lot of it's to do with social media. Truly, I think a lot of it's to do with that, because since the rise of social media, more kids and teenagers are now all depressed because of the algorithms that essentially learn your behavior and try to sell to you. So they're controlling, the big tech companies through AI as well are controlling how you feel in order to manipulate you, right?
Oh yeah, you've got AI, but you've also got, I mean, what they do, I don't really know, but people like Universal Studios, they've got a Masonic thing at the back of it, where if they get a master tape, they actually do a ceremony to send Luciferian spirits after the person who's actually listening to it. So you're going to get bombarded by negative spirits. Why are so many people depressed, and why are people doing some crazy stuff? To me, if you're struggling, this whole word's enslavement. We know that, And like you mentioned, this Federal Reserve, you get a dollar bill, it's a Federal Reserve note, promise to pay note. So everyone's promised to pay. If I went to the store, I'm going to give them a promise to pay note. So I'll promise to pay you sometime, well, who knows when, because it's just a note. And they promise to pay their supplier. They promise to pay the farmers. Everyone's promising, but no one's paying because there's a massive vacuum. That's why it doesn't work, But it's really interesting. That's why I think the Federal Reserve is just about to collapse, and I think they'll wipe it forever once it's gone, because the Federal Reserve in the US is controlling everything. But so going back to that, so what they do is they once they've done that, then if that media is played, then Luciferian spirits are whipped up. Now, if someone's vibration is low because they're enslaved, you're trying to pay your mortgage, everything's going up, and you're stressed and everything else, your vibration drops to the level of these beings, so they can attach to you. And once they attach you, like Anunnaki Draconian, they sit in the abdomen, hang on the shoulders, shoulder and neck always tight. Your abdomen gets really bloaty because it's paralyzing it. Affects the liver and kidneys, taps the lower back, damages the L4, L5 disc after a while, and sends you negative thoughts. Like whatever you do, you get these thoughts like, you go to work, oh, no one likes you. You're doing a pathetic job, and then you get home, you didn't do a good job at work, and no one wants to be around you. No one likes you. You just get these thoughts coming all the time, and people start believing them. But they're a you thought, and it's very important. I'd love to stress to people that if you get these negative thoughts, they're not your thoughts. See where they came from, because it's a you thought. It's very easy to switch it to an I thought. You see what I mean? And so once you remove them, and we've got a prayer in here, prayer protection. It's called the 27 Esoteric Merkaba Field prayer. It's on the website. Once you've removed it, and then you can say that prayer for a while until you release enough emotion to get your vibration up, so you're powerful. Then they can't get near your energy field. And that's, to me, that's the whole point of healing. Getting people well, getting their vibration up, taking their power back so they are their own guru. I don't believe in gurus. I think this is just all a pile of nonsense. You are your own guru, and my job is just to facilitate, to help people get back to their beautiful guru self. And I see it every day, and I think, wow, this is amazing. I love it. So
I would call myself someone like so. See, for me to be depressed, there'd have to be a lot on my plate, right? Because I'm the type of optimistic type of person. So I always look at everything in life positively. And I think my advice to anybody, right, that's having a shit time would truly be like, literally look at the blessings you have, right? And actually see them for what they are. So when you wake up in the morning and your kid gets up for school and you're done in, and your kid's like, blah, 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 moaning away, right? See through it. See through that. Your child is up and is animated, because your child can be animated. You know what I mean? There's nothing stopping your child. Your child is there. You are present within that. You know what I mean? And I find happiness in those, like, even
small things. Yeah,
because my life is hella busy, right? And people are like always saying to me, "Oh, I don't know how you do it," because I absolutely love it, and I don't view my life the same way as they view my life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that would be my advice to anybody, is really look
I agree. I mean, when I went bankrupt, I had no money for food for 15 days. I was absolutely, flat broke. Didn't have a penny. I remember in Belize for 21 days. They didn't give me any money for food. I couldn't eat, and they gave me water, but not food. And eventually, I manifested some money after 21 days. But what I'm saying is, when you've been through that, you're right. Just having a plate of food on the table is like stunning, because people go without. If you've got a car, if you've got somewhere to live, the stuff I've got, this instruments here to be able to stream video. What a blessing. And to me, gratitude it becomes a way of life. I think about that every single second and minute of every day. Like, wow, I love what I do. Working for God, live off donations. Just like that lady said 20 years ago, and what a blessing. And the more grateful you are, the more comes in. I'm not a multi-millionaire. I don't want to be. But I've always got enough. And I think, wow, so yeah, you're right. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
The smallest things.
For sure. Bobbitter says, radiation makes more sense to me than demons. Lol. We get bombarded by radiation every time we use technology now, which is known to cause imbalance in the brainwaves. Now, scientific minds would say that it's not enough. Like, everything's radiation, the sun's radiation, right? So yes, we're always constantly being hit with radiation, but like there is that whole argument. Is me holding this here like shaking me into oblivion, or is it really not? You know what I mean? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think you do get radiation off these towers because they've tuned particular frequencies to damage the body. Certain frequencies will vibrate the cells, and like 5G it detoxes the cells real fast. That's why some people start to get like altitude sickness when they first switch them on, because the heart rate goes up because it's trying to pump blood around the body to move all the toxins that are coming out. There is a lot of radiation, but these reptilians are pretty big. I mean, when I work on people, I would say 97 to 98% of people have got an attachment. And once you've removed it, and they say the prayer, once you get your vibration up, and everything's connected, the immune system, once you've released emotion, that's going to be a lot more powerful. And, and you get into this great place where, I never get sick. So,
That must be nice. just when was the last time you were sick?
Oh, a long time ago. Well, actually, one of the biggest things was this. Let me see this in here. What happened is I got dusted with a bioweapon, and I was working with Dr. Hildy.
A typical Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, I went to Conscious Life Expo, and I felt it. I thought, that was weird. It was just like, like just a spray. And I got really sick, like temperature went to 104.5 something, really sick. Struggled breathing, everything else. I was working on myself. Anyway, I felt better after 2 or 3 days. So, and then this started to appear. What the heck is that? It's actually a cyst. And what it did is it basically put the bioweapon, my body's very adaptive, it put the bioweapon within the cyst. So it cleared out the body. Weird. So anyway, we did a test of what bioweapon was. It was a thing called tumularia. There was a binding agent with the tumularia, and there was a solvent. So the solvent delivers it through the skin. The binding agent binds it to the cells, and the tumularia comes from rats, which the MI6 use, which was interesting. So, but obviously the CIA's got it as well. They're all the same people. So I was definitely just doing a bioweapon. And so I've been working on it. The problem is that when you're releasing it, you've got to release it really carefully. Otherwise, it makes you really sick. So you've got to release it slowly. So it was a lot bigger. Now it's kind of almost gone. Interesting.
Who smacked you with one of them? How did it get on your neck?
Well, no, it's in my body, and it's assembled here as a cyst. So it just came up somewhere to contain it. So in one of the glands. So
how did it get in your body?
I felt it. I had short sleeve shirt. I was walking, and I suddenly felt like someone spraying your arm with water. Well, what's the heck's that? Oh, nothing. Didn't think any of it until a few hours later when I thought, oh, I don't feel good.
Think it was deliberate?
Oh yeah. This stuff's there to kill you. So
someone essentially has tried to kill you. Do you know who it is or why they would? Well, I think we know why. But do you know?
it's just the 3-letter agency is one of them. They're all. I mean, they've tried 289 times to get rid of me.
Really?
Yeah. When I was first born, I had 8 strokes. Then I burnt my back when I was 4, and it just went on and on. And I remember being in India once, and I was in Delhi at the northern camp to fly from Delhi back to the UK, and they said, you need to stay for 3 days. Why stay for 3 days? Why just stay for 3 days? Okay. Now, this is without no money, so I had to try and find £70 to change the ticket. You know, on the day I should have flown, the original day, the aircraft I should have been on went to the end of the runway and blew up, killed everyone on board. It never even took off. And I thought, oh, was that meant for me? Well, yeah, so I blessed everyone on board, and, you know, so it's been crazy.
We actually touched on this before the episode started. We spoke to a guy who had, quite similar to yourself, he actually done in a couple of aliens with a samurai sword, John Edmonds, right? Someone you know. Then he done our podcast, and then he died. So how many times have they tried to do Ian?
299.
So 290 might be the time. No. So you actually knew.
Well, thanks. Yeah. Well,
if you get done in after this podcast, we're definitely putting it down to it's this podcast, and we will definitely never invite anyone on that's in your field of work.
Don't worry about it. I have no fear anyway. What happens if you have absolutely no fear and have absolute faith? They can't touch you because you know that you're not touching me. Full stop. There is no doubt. And if you harbour that thing,
Bob says, did you say they gave you
8 times? Yeah,
what?
8 strokes. I was in hospital for a year. Came out of hospital, and then I burnt my back when I was 4. I was in hospital for another year, and then I got yellow jaundice for the shock, and Billy Rubin shot up. Anyway, and it's just been going on and on. I mean, it's been nuts.
That's out of order.
They know when you're born who you are and what you're doing, you know, what soul you've got and all this sort of thing. And then if they think you're going to make a massive, if they're not happy with you, they'll try and get rid of you. But again, absolute faith, they can't touch me. They can try.
Bobbiter says here, why did you get targeted when you were born, and were you targeted before birth? Interesting question.
Oh, he wrote before birth, but I think he meant birth.
He did.
Oh, there it goes.
Why was was I targeted? They knew I was coming in. Yeah, there's certain people who, if they know they're coming in and going to do some big things, they'll try and get rid of you as you're born. You know, and they did. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I've had scans and they said, "Wow, you've got this weird condition in your brain. You got a lot of scar tissue." Well, yeah, I've had 8 strokes. You know, and I'm still here.
You don't look like someone who's had a stroke.
No, I mean, yeah. Sorry. No, I'm fine. We haven't got the glitches like Clinton, you know. No, I mean, my body is really good at healing itself.
Okay. Some pussies have 1 stroke and their face is fond of knowledge. Some folk have like 1 stroke and you can visibly see, and it's good. Obviously, being quite resilient.
No, and the other thing, I think it changed your brain as well, because parts of your brain obviously get damaged, and so that's why I think very differently. And who knows? But I love it. I love it being here.
Lee, this is the woman I was telling you about. This is Lee. She says, "Hi guys." She is probably the most accurate spirit medium I've ever encountered, because everything she says happens, and everything she's said to someone, like I've been there at many of her readings, she's just always accurate. So I even say to Lee, if it's all a load of shite, she is the best at doing it, at being, you know what I mean? But there's definitely more to it that we will explore with Lee. She's very much in the same. She's never said anything about reptiles yet. However, J-Mac and I were at a kind of lock-in with Lee and with this other dude. He showed up looking like the Undertaker with white hair, right? And he was so full of shit. It was so funny because sometimes sometimes you can just tell folk are full of shit. This guy was so full of shit. He was even like this, looking at us like that. I just did not buy a thing. He says, Bobbiter says, how did they know? I'm pretty skeptical on this stuff, so I'm quite curious. So I think he means how did they know that you were incoming and they're going to try and do you in before you were born?
Because they know they can look at the future, remote the future, whatever, and they know who's coming in and how they're going to try and help the planet to, change. And, one of the things is the Pyramid Project. And the proof of the pudding will be when the pyramids get down here, they're just going to appear. And they're made of Moldavite. We don't have enough Moldavite on this planet to build them. and a lot of other technology, obviously off-planet technology. But it'll be in a year or two. We're trying to raise the money to buy the land at the moment. So
that's excellent. So you were saying before that. Sorry, go for it, J-Mac.
Why do people like yourself and others like you? Why do you people not make it to the top of the pyramid, for want of a better term, on the world stage?
Well, because you're not part of the Cabal, the deep state stuff. The deep state stuff is about control. They want you to basically worship Lucifer. They want you to do satanic stuff. They want to control the whole world. They want to get the likes of you and I. I would be part. I've been invited to be in the Masonic Lodge. I've been invited. I got the Grand Master of something. What the heck was it? I can't remember the name of it, but it's linked to the Masonic Lodge. It's the top of the Masonic Lodge. The Grand Master actually wrote to me on Facebook. He said, "Love the work you do. We've got an organisation, and if you want anything, because as we, I went to the Facebook page. He said, I'll put you on for just a week, and if you don't join, we'll take you off." And I was looking, and these people said, "Well, I wanted a yacht, and suddenly one appeared in my driveway, and all this stuff. If you want anything or you need anything, they just give it to you."
You still got this guy's number?
Take the words right out of my mouth.
Well, what I did do, I've got a contact at the top of the military here, who's a white hat. He's just below. He's in contact with, the Trump's generals or whatever, the white hat generals. So I phoned him up and said, "What's this organisation?" I've heard it. He said, "Let me make a few phone." I got back. Said, "I wouldn't go anywhere near them because once you're bought in, you sell your soul, you're done." So. I just said, I actually just deleted the thing and blocked them, the Grand Masters.
Is there a crew that's counting about like that you can get the yacht and all that without eating kids and stuff like that? Is there a couple of steps down where the work? Aye.
Yeah.
So
they lure you in with money. I mean, they've got infinite money, these people. They've got yachts, they've got planes, they've got all this stuff. So if you want a plane, I'll just have this one.
Money's not real anyway. So
it's not. So it's all promise. It's all on promise to pay. But what's interesting, I think, is that these people, you have to do something for them, and normally it's like doing something like that or having a blood ritual. Once you've done the blood ritual, then that changes your whole energy around you, and you're bought in because they take pictures of it. So you just got to keep away from all these satanic, and there's plenty of them,
I don't mind kicking in a couple of junkies or that if they've got anything like that going. But I'm not up for any of the serious stuff. So I suppose I would it would be interesting to be a fly on the wall. Do you know there's a amount of celebrities that have come out and said here, this is going on. Did you ever see the scenario with Isaac Cappy? He was an actor, right? And he's like, "Here, lads, I don't want to die. I don't want to kill myself, but they literally have this room." And he used the actor Seth Green. He says, "Seth Green," he says, "I loved him, right? But then I found out where he takes the children in his house, and it's down the stairs, right? They've got a room for it,
underneath.
right?" And he's like, "I didn't." He's like Tom Hanks. The lot of them, they're all at it. I had to do horrible
allegedly
things, blah, blah,
for the sake of this fucking podcast.
I mean,
allegedly.
that's what he said. This is what he said.
Okay, so that's not the opinion of the Jibber Jabber podcast.
No, this is what he said. And then he ends up dead after saying, "Here, I didn't want to die." He ends up dead. And on the same day that he died, Tom Hanks put out something on Instagram that was in relation to it. It could all be a load of crap. But remember that thing we were talking about before where it's like, well, here are the facts. He made these videos. He said these things about these people. He made it abundantly clear that he didn't want to die. He also said, "I've got a kill switch," which is a video that will be released upon him dying, which was released, and it was this mad room where all these people are putting robes on, and there's children being I was like, what the
Have you seen this?
fuck, man? Yes. Have you not?
No, I'll be honest with you. If you send it to me, I wouldn't click on it.
But this is what I'm saying. And this is a guy that if you rewind 10 years, 5 years prior to all this, he was just a guy getting into Hollywood. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He was the type of guy that wouldn't kind of cause that type of alarm.
Well, generally, I mean, all the actors have been on Epstein Island all over the place, so it's coming out.
Even
now.
Stephen Hawking, man, what the?
It's crazy.
Oh,
it's crazy.
man.
It's a funny world, but that's why I stay outside the matrix completely. I don't get involved with politics, don't get involved with religion. I believe in, prime creator, whatever that is, and I believe in God, obviously. And I just do service to others, and and I stay away from all the, all the behaviour of blah blah blah, as we call it.
I mean, that's interesting. Obviously, you say you're not a religious person, yet you believe in and you do work for God. What is, I mean, what is your way of life then? If it's not following a certain religion, what actually is it?
Well, it's just being, meditating, doing spiritual practices, doing this psychic surgery and talking to my off-planet beings, the Melchizedek beings. They do all the work with me, I meditate with them. So, and I just have great friends around me who love you for who you are, who don't suck the life out of you, who you can have a laugh with, you can play music with. We're amongst the trees, I love nature, and we have a good life, really.
Trees are class.
I heard something recently about how we should all make more time just to walk on the grass because
because energy.
It fixes you in some way. What's that about?
Well, I mean, we're like I suppose a transductor of energy, and so if you've got rubber soles on your feet, your energy's not going to move into the planet Earth. Well, when it does move, it really helps you, and you also draw energy from the planet Earth as well. I mean, this planet's amazing, I always remember George Carlin, he was talking about planet Earth. He goes, everyone wants to save the planet. Have you ever seen George Carlin? He's really funny.
He's phenomenal.
He said, save the planet. It's not the planet that needs saving. I'm not saying any F words, of course.
Oh, you can't.
He said it's the people on it that need saving. And it's just the way his facial expression. He said, she could spin us off like a bad dose of fleas. That's just the way he said it. I thought he's absolutely genius, really is. Love George Carlin.
Yeah, no, he was until he died. That's quite shite. Bob Itter says, what is energy? Lee says, very true. So I think what Bob Itter means is, what would you describe energy as? Like, what is it?
Interesting thought. Well, energy is in everything as well. So what is energy? Well, it's just a vibrational
frequency.
Interesting, actually. Yeah. It's a ton of frequencies. The one thing about God's energy, I always teach, people use a lot of machines like rice machines, whatever, and it sends you a frequency, whatever. But, to me, God's energy, it's so complex. Its frequencies are different types, all rolled into one. And that's got harmonics, subharmonics, and then they've got, it's so complex, God's energy. I don't think you can ever construct it,
No, here's another thing for you. Energy, right, definitely exists because if J-Mac and his missus has a fight, right, and then they start, they just sit there quietly, if I walk into a room, I can feel that straight away.
It's because she's staring at me like this.
But you know what I mean? That there, I think, is a measurable energy, no? Because if I walk in with a blindfold, I would believe that I could still sense that.
Oh yeah, you can sense people's energy.
Yeah, you totally can. Because I'm a big believer in surrounding yourself with positive people. Surround yourself with the type of people that.
Oh, I am as well. They can have a laugh with them.
Yeah, so that's the same type of energy, I think, and I pick up on energy the first time I meet anyone. I'm just like, I know straight away walking into a room if I don't like someone, and it's purely based on that first instance. I'm not judging them, but I get a feeling.
Yeah,
proper
they just feel
feeling.
dark.
Yeah. Bob Itter says it exists, but what actually is it? We can measure it, but we don't know what it is.
Interesting.
Confucius.
Well, yeah. It's interesting. It's frequencies, but what is frequencies? And it's to me, energy is the vibration of everything. Like trees. I mean, all this thing is an illusion. It's not solid. Nothing's solid. Nothing's real. It's just a vibrational instruments of different frequencies that create like trees and everything else. So, but it's like, what's electricity? You can cook with it, whatever. But what actually is it? And the answer is, people actually don't know.
Well, we're definitely conduits of it. I saw a video just the other day. I don't know why it shows me this algorithm, right? But there was a guy and he sat on a train track next to his missus, right? And then he starts getting electrocuted and he's like, oh, right? and then she's just like, she's not on the track. But then when he's like, ugh, it touches her, and then she's like, fuck, it takes her down. I know, and she's like, oh, thanks. Like him touching her, it was passed through him to her. So we're very much able to
A
deal with
conductor's.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
sure. So there's one way of kind of saying, right, energy does exist and it does move through us. Otherwise, when that dude stood on top of a train and touched the big thing, his heat would never exploded, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
He'd have been all right.
It's amazing, though. Yeah.
I know I've got away with words sometimes.
Is it? I don't know if this is something that you would answer, but I'll ask you anyway. What is waiting for us when this vessel that we're in happens to stop working anymore? What's waiting for us?
Well, I see a very, very much better life. I think everything's going to change. I think the reptilians will probably get off the planet because they can't stay in a high vibrational planet. So when these pyramids here, part of it is to actually, the reptilians will have to leave, which means we'll have the human race. There's also, there's a lot of the population like NPCs, non-player characters.
I'm bumping them all the fucking time. Subway, man.
Yeah. You can
Subway.
tell.
The fucking, you go in, I can have a salad with sweet corn, and they're just like fucking
There's anything in there.
everywhere. They're everywhere.
But they're not real people. They're
I know.
AI people. It's amazing.
They are
It's really
AI.
crazy.
Every Subway employee's like, this is really offensive.
I'm using this now. That's phenomenal, baby. See, from now on, I am going to refer to dumb fucks, and I mean that in the way where they choose to be dumb. I'm going to use that. I'm like, this is AI, motherfucker. In fact, AI is efficient as fuck. The NPCs.
NPCs.
That's NPC.
Oh, God.
That's brilliant. God. We spoke to John Edmonds, right? And it's interesting that you have met John Edmonds as well. Like, you actually went to his house. And what was it you said? You cleared it out.
I went there because he was getting visitations from the Greys at night, coming through a portal. And he had his horse sanctuary. How many horses do we have? I think about 11 or 12 or something. He was looking after these horses, horse sanctuary, and then one would be just half eaten. It'd be dead and half eaten. He was really upset by it. So anyway, what happens is that he said, I want to stop this. I want to shut down this portal. So anyway, I said, well, I'll come for the weekend. So I flew to Phoenix, drove to his ranch, and spent about a day and a half, 2 days looking for the codes to open this portal. And yeah, got them. The thing opened, there was a sonic boom, and John goes, wow, you've opened it, but normally it opened at ground level, but it was open about, I would say, 200 feet above the ground, And then I've got watchers that watch me called Arcturian craft. So what happened is the craft just showed up as well, like about half a mile away. 3 craft, and then they went to 1 and 3. They were going behind each other. They were just floating behind each other. 5 minutes later, the military helicopters came out. They were circling around, right around them. Why? And obviously, they're thinking, what the hell do we do with these? And they spoke to me. They can use telepathy. And I said, why are you here? And they said, well, so you don't do something stupid, So, okay. And anyway, I spent the time, got it open, and it was funny because there's like craft dropping out of it and things. John took some pictures, but I don't know whether he still got them.
Well, do you know, he sent us a lot of that stuff. Because we spoke to him a couple of years ago now, obviously before he passed, which is a shame because he was such a sweet guy. And
he was,
here's the thing. So we were quite new to podcasting at the time. We weren't even on video. We weren't live. It was all pre-recorded and just audio podcast. And when I reached out to John to get him on the show, I thought, because we'd seen a lot of his stuff on CNN, we're like, here's a guy that's done in all these aliens with a samurai sword. I was like, oh, come on, this sounds mental, but we need to speak to this guy. Now, the world's perception of John is that he was crazy, right? This guy's attacking aliens with a samurai sword. Okay. But when we spoke to John, like, we were like, this guy does not seem crazy at all. Do you know what I mean?
No, he's
like,
not. He's...
And he even
I've
said
been to his ranch.
Yeah.
I've been to his ranch, and I've seen the portal open.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So that was for us one of those turning points where we were like, we were expecting him to just be like batshit, but everything he said was always consistent with what he'd always said. He never changed anything. And he even said to us, he says, look, He says, I had a good job. He says, do you not think I know how crazy this sounds? He's like, but I have to just tell you. His friend Bruce, do you still speak to Bruce? His the guy that wrote the book with him.
No, he wrote the book after. I went quite a few years ago, and I know he had a lady who was trying to write the book, and then they fell out. So I think they got somebody else in the end. So I never met Bruce. That was afterwards.
You should maybe connect with him, because he's actually he said, because he was on the show as well. Is it Bruce Edmonds? Is that his name?
No. I can't remember his last name, but the problem is he was on the show, but he was trying to do it from somewhere in South America, so he kept dropping out. Like, he had no signal when we were trying to do this show.
He was just chatting to us the other day on social media.
McDonald,
Bruce McDonald, that's him.
There we go. There's the name.
Why did I think Edmund? Because it's
John Edmonds.
That's why. But yes. But the thing is, Bruce as well was like, here, look, I didn't know John prior. He says, and I went to this ranch and I experienced it. You know, and then when you factor in, what did they call it? Was it the Northern Lights they called it? Where the big V-shape.
No, that's the Phoenix Lights.
The Phoenix Lights, the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
No, that's the sponge thing coming again. So there's so much. Remember how I says there's the facts and then there's everything else. The facts are that many people seen those lights, right? Bruce and John talked about those lights, right? And many other people not related to them did. So I when it comes to John and his scenario, I'd be far more inclined to believe that being the case. So you got to see some of these aliens, then did you see? Because I know that he says he'd done them in with a samurai sword and tried to FedEx it to his pal. And what happened to the FedEx thing again? Did it not? There was nothing there, eh?
No, I think I don't know what he did with them, but he said they're buried somewhere where he knows where they are. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, he never exposed where they were, but I certainly did. I didn't see any aliens there, but I saw craft. You know, the grey reticular craft coming out of the port. It was amazing, and a lot of stuff came out of the port as well. Like, wow, you know.
Are the greys one? Are the greys one race, or is there many different types of races?
There's
of
the tall greys, there's the reticulars, there's short ones. You know, there's quite a number of them, number of races. But it's the grey reticulars that actually did the deal to give us technology for stealing body parts.
So what are the other ones up to?
Some of them are slaves. The small greys are slaves to the reticular. They're the worker,
nice.
worker ones. Yeah,
Slavery, man, it's everywhere. You want me to shock both of you, right? So, maybe last year, my wife says I'm going to start watching Grey's Anatomy, and I was like, class, I'll watch that with you, assuming Grey's Anatomy was something like the X-Files. Chucked it on, and it was a bit of hospital. I was like, the fuck's this? For years, I thought Grey's Anatomy was something quite similar to the X-Files. It was proper like, it's about 16 seasons. Oh, that's great. We'll watch it together. It was a trap. It was a trap, and I didn't watch Grey's Anatomy. But
she trapped you there, man. That's
I refused. I refused when I found out that it was actually a girl called Sunday Grey, and it was her hospital. I was like, gutting, man. So anytime I hear the Greys, I'm like, that whole time I thought Greys was Grey's Anatomy. Because think about it, the anatomy of a Grey. I thought, these fuck are going to find out all about the Greys.
Yeah.
There was nothing to do with that. I was tricked. So you're saying that the Greys as well, then? So they have their whole hierarchy. And
they've got a hierarchy. Yeah.
And they trade.
So the reptilians. I mean, got Anunnaki. The Draconians are a lot darker than Anunnaki. They're more kind of satanic in a way. Luciferians are more snarly. You know, if they attach to your body, when they leave, they can talk. You know, what Jesus talked about, demonic entities, is just a general word for all of these races. And you know, when you remove someone, they start hissing like in a raspy, snarly voice. You know, it's like complete possession. So yeah, I remember going to actually it was the Conscious Life Expo. It was quite a few years ago, and there's a girl that had the most entities I've ever seen. She had 57 Luciferians, and I kept taking one off. You know, and people go, "Oh my god!" Right, one, okay, next. 57. I've never seen that many entities attached to somebody. Took the last one out. She was back to her normal self. Amazing.
What does that feel like? What does that feel like physically? I mean, I don't mean like he said, what does it feel like to remove these beings from a person? Yeah, like you might say, oh, it feels great to know that I've done something good. What does it feel like physically? Like, well, what?
You can feel their energy going up your arm, like dark energy going up your arm. And then what I do is put in a portal and send them back to God with unconditional love and forgiveness. Again, I never judge people. It's always like, forgiveness and, no judgment. But once they're gone, they're gone. And whatever God does in the portal is up to them, so.
So, right, pal. You're getting it.
Pumped.
I kept going out and it was amazing.
I can imagine. Obviously to the, well, if we say the indoctrinated, like the idea of just ripping somebody off somebody and chucking them into a portal, like it's not something that comes up every day. It's no something like what you've been up to last week, just ripping folk off other folk and throwing them through a portal. How like when you were first like able to do these type of things and you were aware of what these type of things were, like do you find that a lot of people just roll their eyes and don't take you seriously because of it? Or do you find...
I used to. I mean, I don't now. I think because we hang around with people. I mean, I go to spiritual communities and they get like there's reptilians about. They get that there's demonic entities. And they get there's a spiritual, what would you call it? A spiritual battle going on, dark versus evil. And that's all it is, really. I mean, the deep state is all connected to these reptilians. So they're the like dark side. The light side is the people who are trying to, get people to get these things off people, get them healed, and then they can go out and do some great stuff in the world, and change this world from enslavement to, it's going to be bliss in the future. What I see is very different. Like the United States, I don't see, I've remote viewed and the timelines are all shifting so fast. It's very difficult to see, A, when things are going to happen, B, what happens after, because it's humanity's timeline, but obviously our personal timelines bleed into that. But I think, we're going to get through it. And this enslavement would be finally over because it's been going on since Babylonian times,
Do you think Hollywood? Sorry, because I see that a lot of stuff that's going to happen and a lot of stuff that has happened has always been foretold through Hollywood, and they even say as well that certain films are there. Like Tom DeLonge from Blink-182, he's mad on aliens, and he says that he works with a lot of government officials, and what they do is they use Hollywood to make you susceptible of receiving this information by showing you it through fiction, but really it's elements of real life. I can't mind, there was Zombie Tip Ripper 2, there was like a bit in that was, I can't even mind what the scene was, but essentially you can look through it in so many different films and it's there, like you can actually see that there's...
Oh yeah, I mean, if you look at Will Smith's, that zombie movie, I forget what it was called, but
I Am Legend.
Yeah, I think so. Well,
it wasn't Zombie Tip Ripper 2 though. No, it was I Am Legend.
It wasn't that.
Yeah, but that was for telling what could. The thing is, if they're going to do anything, the keys of Enoch, the keys of the universe, you have to be able to tell people, warn them before you do it. That's one of the key things.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Because they did.
Enoch.
That's
it's
everywhere.
like Simpsons. Look at the Simpsons.
Mate, what the fuck is that? Right? The Simpsons know everything. The Donald Trump thing with the sign.
It was Trump coming down the escalator was the one that got me. To
the point where the kid dropped the sign. There's a scene. There's also a scene where Trump in a casket and he'd been shot by a sniper. So I'm waiting. Like that's probably good. If that happens,
it was you.
I couldn't shoot. I've actually got a scar on my hand for when I tried to shoot an air gun. I went tits up. Excellent. I went tits up, so you can't count on me for that. Bob Bitter says, what's your opinion of Agenda 2030?
Well, we're battling, we're battling this complete government control to be free again. And I think we're going to do it because I think people are waking up real fast. Like you say, Hollywood's completely satanic. I think Hollywood's finished. Really
By the way, I think you're right.
I think it's done. Disney's done.
We don't believe. Yeah. By the way, see, you look back on all the Disney stuff, dirty bastards, eh? Like what they had in so many like the subliminal messaging. Oh, I think that was Bob Bitter and I grew up together, and that's where we first started seeing Like that was our key to the rabbit hole, was a lot of the Disney stuff and how they would
Oh yeah.
write
Yeah, yeah.
sex and stars and all that. It's disgusting. Bobbitt says the Simpsons don't know everything. It's just been engineered to look that way. The world's a stage. Well, I mean, they do know quite a bit of things because they've got it
Well,
right.
they know some. Yeah, yeah. Not everything. I think,
course.
if you knew everything, I mean, people often say to me, is the world this bad? I said, oh, you haven't seen anything yet. They go down rabbit holes. It just gets worse and worse. It's a lot to digest, because when you realize everything's hijacked, the air, the food, it's all manipulated, and then you got this child trafficking, horrible stuff going on adrenochrome, shipped by, different companies. And it's just like unbelievable,
All the while,
Yeah, all the while people said, no, it would never happen in America, it would never happen in the UK. It's happening all over, So it's going to change. I think the white hat people are really kicking in, and it's going to be military, I think what's going to happen personally is that I think all the military will step in. There'll be military control for a while they take all these cabal people down, and then we've got to work on the reptilians, so who are way under the planet. So
do you reckon that the military will just among themselves be like, right, lads, let's gut this out, or do you think there'll be that one catalyst, that one person that's like, let's get down to business?
I think it's going to start in America, and then it's going to, trickle out all over.
J-Mac would disagree with you.
What's that?
Yeah.
Why?
Like, because you think you always say Americans always do the shit stuff first. Jeannie's back me up here. Didn't let him wriggle at this one.
No, it seems to be the way of it. For me, the thing is, America. I mean, it's not just me that thinks this. America seems to be the world police.
Well, it's the CIA, isn't it? So
yeah, and like America's the only country to have ever used an atomic bomb, yet they are the authority on who can and cannot have them. It's like, come on, it's like a bit of fair play here, boys. That's like me punching somebody in the face and then telling everybody else they're never allowed to do that again.
It's crazy. It's true, though, actually.
That's basically what it is. That's what authority is, isn't it? Do as I say, not as I do. How many times?
I think that's mainly the CIA. I mean, the CIA is all over the world. It's grown so huge, And you can always tell people when they manipulate the CIA, they're always really well off. They don't do any work. They're a handler or something. I've seen them, I've seen them near me as well. And wow, they're always smartly dressed, and they've always got plenty of money. And yet, what's your job? Oh, I just do not a lot, just a bit of healing. So, okay, where's your money come from?
I'm not allowed to talk about it. Oh, so you do nothing.
Wee bit of this, wee bit of that. Wait to see a man about a dog.
That's really funny.
And nowadays you could just literally say, "Oh, I'm an influencer. I influence the United States of America." Do you know what I mean? So you could essentially say influencer, and it be correct.
Well, that's true, actually. Yeah.
Aye. What's it Janice says here? She says, so was Walt Disney an alien? One interesting one.
I'll give him the floor on that one.
I actually think he is, yeah. I mean, but I think he was definitely an alien, but he was a full one. Because this stuff in his Disney has been going on for a long, long time. So I don't see him as a good person, personally, but I don't know about you guys.
No. It's a funny one because we're all of an age where we grew up watching Disney films. I mean, even yourself. I mean, I'm not sure quite how old you are. You could be 55.
62.
62.
Next Wednesday.
Happy birthday when it comes, my man.
But hang on. Before you go any further, I asked God for discount. They said you can have a discount of 30 years. So I'm only 32. So
you got a discount of Oh, okay. So you get to live. You get to live until you're 120. That's cool.
Absolutely.
So we all grew up watching Disney stuff, and I'll be honest, I still show Disney stuff to my kids. I think that they're entertaining, but I do think there is something a little bit funny behind a lot of it. But again, I've only really thought this since the internet came out and people started saying, "Oh, have you ever seen this? Have you ever spotted this moment?" And you could probably do that with a million different things and see things where that thing doesn't actually exist. It's just your mind putting things together. A bit like pareidolia. It's like where you want to see a pattern, you will find it. I hope that's what it is. I really hope that's what it is. But I don't know. This podcast could be the one to change my mind.
Yeah. Well, they're definitely, before the stuff's distributed, it will be an Masonic Lodge sending Luciferian spirit. So again, maps of intent, before you put your CD on, do the prayer of it. They're on the website. Just do a prayer and remove all the, symbology and things that are going to activate Luciferians, which means that you can watch the movie with no interference.
Yeah.
To me, the maps of intent are more, maps of intent are a manifestation of, right, let's get rid of that. Let's do that, and I think you have the power to do that, ourselves. So all this nonsense they do, we could just counteract it with maps of intent or in quotes prayers, We're powerful beings.
Do you think that things are going to go very bad for the human race before they get better?
Oh, yeah, you haven't seen anything yet. Yeah, absolutely. I think this year is going to go real south. I mean, it's going south already. I mean, honestly, I look outside sometimes. Am I still on this planet? I don't recognise it, Because the Matrix is breaking down. Everything looks surreal. I don't know about you guys, but to me, everything's surreal. And I think it's going to go real south. I think there's going to be a really big event. When? Who knows? But I don't think it's far away, The problem is... oh, yeah. I mean, look at Lahaina, That was a plasma laser melting people's houses and petrifying people,
Yeah, what was that in Maui as well?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
They were definitely using the energy.
Maui.
They were using energy weapons, clearly, because everything that was blue that the energy weapon couldn't touch existed. It stood perfectly.
And melted everything else.
It melted absolutely everything.
That one guy in the neighbourhood that was getting moaned at because his house was blues like that.
Who's laughing now, huh?
So, but look at your neighbourhood, man. You live in a shithole now.
It's so obvious now that I think even like it's become cool for kids on TikTok now to be I won't say woke, but I say awakened. And there's a lot of kids now going like, see through this shit, and all our idols are now fallen. We don't idolize Hollywood anymore.
No, I mean, it's satanic. I think Hollywood's finished, and I think it's finished for good.
I don't think they meant that when the whole COVID stuff started, because I think that was the downfall of Hollywood, when you've got people dying and working their asses off round the clock, and then you've got celebrities just like singing wee songs like that makes a fucking difference in the world. Get fucked, eh? Bobbiter says where did that go? He says they only have power because everything runs on the dollar. That's why things like Bitcoin is such a threat. It shakes up the entire power structure if people change currency.
Absolutely, yeah. They've then lost control because, like I say, the dollar. Well, it's not even a proper dollar gold-backed bill. It's just a promise to pay no dollar thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's an IOU.
It tickles me. Well, IOUs. So, if you want to buy your TV, I'm going to IOU.
These are IOUs.
Yeah, plenty of them. Yeah. Let's go on a spending spree. Let's go shopping.
Exactly.
Lamborghinis, cowboy hats.
Yeah, give me Lamborghini. I promise to pay you.
Pretty birds. Pretty birds.
There's a lot of Dumb and Dumber references going on here. But
J-Mac and I are the living embodiment of Dumb and Dumber. I think I'm Lloyd with a chipped tooth. Bobbiter says, energy weapons, don't be a conspiracy theorist.
I see a hint of sarcasm in that one.
It's really funny.
How do you really feel, Kev? I think, like you say, see, maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the conversation we're having right now, people would be tuning in and laughing at us. I don't know if you can tell by the comment section, but no one in here is ridiculing anything we're saying, because nowadays I think the mind is far more awakened to
Oh,
the
yeah,
bullshittery
absolutely.
in the world.
Way
To the
more.
point where, because we're now having this conversation, and like I say, 10, 20, 10, 15 years ago, this conversation we'd be getting pelters right now. You know what I mean? We'd be getting slagged off in the comments, but we're not. People take it seriously because they can start to see it. The imaginary veil that has always been there to separate us and them is very much it's gone. And I think it's good as long as people keep having conversations. Not everything that we ever talk about has to be something that you take away and go, yeah, I'll believe that or I believe not. But at least if you can take something and kind of, like I say, if you try to disprove something, that's probably the best place to start. But do it with respect to anybody that you speak to. You know what I mean? If I'm talking to someone who's completely saying stuff where I'm like, that's so out there, like there's nothing wrong with me treating them like a human being instead of laughing, and you know what I mean? I think that's where true progress comes from.
Oh yeah.
You know? And I feel that it happens now. That conversation happens more so now, the respectful conversation around it, which is great for everybody. Here's another thing. What happens if it all comes down, right? And it's just shit and we're not here. I actually preferred it when they were controlling us and eating kids and that. Like, I had a couple of days off and everything, but now we're all out here growing our own food and then no tellies. You know what I mean?
I think that would be crap for a little while, but I think you'd eventually learn to love that. Like, I mean,
I'd like to grow my own food. I mean, we're going to do that. We're building a house about 20 minutes. This is the ministry building here in Hollister, Missouri, and then it's about 20 minutes. We've got 40 acres. We'll just built a house. It's actually should be finished in about 2-3 weeks. But it's it's got 40 acres of trees. You know, you can have a massive greenhouse, and it's got a gate, so you're in your own space. It's just a beautiful place.
Let's go camping at Dr. Macklin's house. Hey,
we'll be accomplices though, because if he starts growing his own food, he'll get arrested.
Well, that kind of stuff's crazy, like getting arrested for collecting rainwater and stuff. That is bananas.
Well, we've got a well actually down there, our own well, and it's about 80 feet deep, and it's pumped, but it's actually spring water. So we've got our own spring water. It's amazing, beautiful water down there.
Living the dream there, but unfortunately, it'll catch up with you. You're gonna get a chap at the door at some point. And they're like, "Here, this is for your protection." Fully us. It's the reality of it, isn't it? But it's good that we can have these conversations. I know that you do meditations 2 times a week. Everybody that has watched the show tonight can see in the corner there. It's a global enlightenment project.com is where they can essentially buy all your books, and everything essentially is on that website. What would you recommend to everybody that goes to your website? What would you recommend the starting point is for them? Anybody that wants to go on that
I would just sign up. I would just come and sign up for a healing and experience it, because it's by donation. We do it twice a week. It's not just meditation. It's actually a healing session, and it goes through most things. Like if you've got tumors, it throws tumors. It releases emotion. I run it for 4 hours after. When you do one-to-one specialized groups, we do it a lot more. But it's trying to cover most things like arthritis, problem with your intestines. A lot of people experience pancreatic enzyme reduction because emotion bleeds to the pancreas. It's not producing the level of enzymes that it used to do. So we're having to do work on the pancreas, we're doing work on the gallbladders, heart issues. It covers a lot of things. So, experience it, because I think you'll enjoy it. It gives you energy. We remove any entities off people. So that's like, the next one is, Thursday. So it's Thursday, 5 p.m. Central Time and Saturday, 11 a.m. Central Time. And it lasts for about an hour. So, it's by donation. If you don't like it, if you want to make a donation, up to you. I do those because I've been without money and I know what it's like. Even without food. So I always wanted to make sure people got a healing, even if they got no money. It's really important to me.
That's amazing.
That's nice.
It's really cool. So with the healing, that's like you can do that online.
Yeah. I put portals. I actually use portaling system. We put up 8 portals and bond it into Merkaba fields. And Merkaba is one of these 27. It's that sort of thing. An 8-pointed star. But anyway, bond it in. The Melchizedek beings come in and do psychic surgery. So and I can do it, so whatever they need to do with people, we run through it, they can feel it, and we get about, like I say, probably about 600 or 700 people, 800 people maybe per, listening on Facebook, YouTube, whatever, so.
And do you get testimonials back from people after these sessions to say that it's made a difference?
Oh, yep. yeah. I got tons of. I had one girl. It's really interesting. I always share this because.
Sorry, I know we've really run over on time here. I've noticed that, but if you're happy to talk,
I'll do this one last one. So anyway, I was doing the healings for a while, and kept going, and then this girl, in the chat on Zoom, she said, "Wow, I've been on this healing for 8 months." She said I had really bad arthritis at the age of 13, and then afterwards, I was on these healings. Oh, then she was 33, so it got really bad. So anyway, so what happened is that I was working on the arthritis bit, ran it 4 hours, and after 8 months, she said, "It's gone. I can't believe it's gone." And because with arthritis, you get calcification on the wrist. You can't just break it down too quick, otherwise it'll overload the kidneys. You get kidney stones. So you have to break it down at the rate the kidneys can, process it without overdoing it. Mm-hmm. And of course, gone. She was just blown away. I've had people where skin conditions. I had one guy, it was really interesting, in Australia, who went to the toilet once every 3 weeks. Couldn't go, he'd been to the gastroenterologist, hospitals, couldn't figure it out. And his intestines were more or less stalled because of emotion. So I worked on him. It took about 4 months, 5 months. And, it started reducing every 2.5 weeks, every 2 weeks, 1.5 week, and then got him down to every 2 days. But what was interesting is that he said when he went to the toilet every 3 weeks, his body was so rancid. It was that stinky. He couldn't have a girlfriend. Couldn't have a job. It was awful. Can you imagine?
What are you laughing at? What are you...
Anyway, he gave him his life back.
Yeah, Kevin.
It's just the way it is. That's stinky. I just imagine.
Well, rancid, really bad. Where no girl going here. I mean, now he's got a girlfriend, he's married, and whatever. But it took about 4 or 5 months to kickstart his intestines to start flowing at the same speed. And there's been so many different things. Lyme disease, got rid of that. HIV/AIDS, got rid of that.
What?
We have a protocol, which is a 20-week program, and it's I have to work on people 3 times a day. It's actually the Melchizedek beings. I was born as one. Were responsible for creating the Akashic records, which is the record of your life. Since year dot. And the reason for that is because if you go back in time, say, for example, choose Hitler. You go back to Hitler. I want to take him out. You can't, because his timeline's already happened in the Akashic record. So you can't alter other timelines for this timeline. So it stops. But of course, because that beings, we have the permission to split someone's timeline in 2. So they go on a path of divine light, complete oneness, where all the particles, like Morgellons particles, the Lyme, stealth pathogens, Lyme, HIV/AIDS, Agent Orange, and all these other things are eradicated on that timeline. On the other timeline to the sun, we separate those out of the body, all of them. Nanotechnology, we're talking Lyme, HIV/AIDS, Agent Orange, all these things. And we lock it on a timeline to the sun. So as time goes on, it separates out of the body. It's got rid of Lyme disease. It's got rid of HIV/AIDS. It's Agent Orange. We've had a lot of people with Agent Orange. Yeah, it's been amazing. But it is a 20-week program. It's a lot of work, So yeah, it's on the website. If anyone's got Lyme or anything like that, have a look at it,
That's amazing. No, we'll definitely... Yeah. Everybody that's watching, if it's something that appeals to you, or even just, do you aside from your books, do you do any radio shows? I know that you say you do podcasts. So do you have any of your own?
Yeah. No, I don't do my own. I just tend to go. I've been on Coast to Coast with Nori about 3 or 4 times. I've been to different podcasts. I don't do my own because I just don't think I can do any more. You know what I mean? I'm like, we're booked out quite a long time, and we're always busy doing something like the protocol or something else. So, you can only do so much, so I'll leave everyone else to podcast.
Do you think you'll ever retire from doing this? Or do you feel like it's
I'll ask
something...
God, because I work for God, and I said, can I retire? No, you're going to work till you croak. Oh, okay.
So,
And
all
actually,
right, God's a Tory. There we go.
yeah. What's funny though is that I don't think I'd want to retire. You know, when people retire, their whole world just shrinks into nothing. You know what I mean? Or they play golf or something like that. I mean, personally, I don't like golf. You guys might like it, but I think it's like
He's one of the
people.
fannies that kick fucking.
I enjoy golf.
He's a fanny.
I'm
He's the type
terrible
of
at
guy
golf,
that
but I really like it.
You say, hey, do you want to go for a game of golf? And he fucking puts the stupid shoes on and the stupid. That's
No.
him.
That is 100% not true. I've never joined a golf club in my life. I play on public courses, council courses. I've never played on a private course in my life, and I pride myself on that fact.
No, I've never golf.
He fucking kicks the ball. Hey, what are you up to this week, J-Mac? I'm playing foot golf. Like fucking.
I've played foot golf once and it was crap. Right?
He
Leave me
also
alone.
likes medieval jousting.
I really enjoy snooker. Snooker's my game. That's my...
Scott, I've got to deal with here, man.
Yeah, we've got a pool table actually. We've got to move it to the new house, but I like pool. It's a bit of fun.
Pool's fun. Pool will never not be fun. Anyway, how did we go from Anunnaki to pool?
Well, you could play the Anunnaki. You might win. Who knows? So,
that would be really good, actually. Could you set that up?
Okay, we'll do it.
You just need to go to globalenlightenmentproject.com and you can be playing wanker golf with the Anunnaki. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, Dr. Macklin.
Oh, thanks for having me, Blusher.
You're welcome to come on anytime, of course.
I'll come back on.
New book coming out. We'll definitely check out some of your books. I like to, after talking to many different guests, I then go down their rabbit holes. So it'll be interesting I'm going to see which one of your books I can find, and then kind of just start from there. We should come back together and do something again soon, and we'll maybe join you up with someone else with this in a similar kind of field. Unfortunately, John's off. In fact, John Edmonds in another realm. I don't know. If you have much contact with John in any which way? No,
I'm not. I mean, I've looked into him, to be honest, because every day I'm talking to these off-planet beings. I could do readings and stuff, but I don't do it. I'll leave other people to that because I'm slam busy with healing, so I just prefer to do that. Yeah.
So it will be cool to one day reconnect with John in whichever plane it is that we do. He was a nice guy. Janice says a real treat. So it's been a real treat for Janice tonight having you on the show.
Oh, thanks, Janice. Bless your heart.
She's just down the road for you as well, so she could actually come for
just down the road in Indiana.
I don't know how long that way is.
She could come for some physical healing.
How far is Branson from where you are?
I think she said it was a couple hours. Does she know? I think she answered this a wee while ago. Let me just see. I'm sure she said.
But it's a couple of American hours, which is like 4 days for the rest of the world. So.
I thought she said that. Yeah, I think she says. Janice says, "Have a great night. Love you all." Says that in a wee Indian accent. Janice could come to you for some proper physical healing.
Absolutely.
Look at that eyebrow, that devious.
That'd be great. So yeah, like I say, a pleasure, and everybody that's watched this now live, and everybody that will listen to this, and everybody that will then again see this in the archives, because we get a lot of people watching our show afterwards. Definitely check out Dr. Macklin's work, and it's great to have these conversations. Is there anything coming up you'd like to let everybody know about, other than this Tuesday?
We do. The end of the month, we have Sacred Space Sharing. We do ask for a donation for that, and it's just talking about what's going on in the world, Pyramid Project, so if people want to join that. Every 120 days, we do a ceremony, free to join, and it's coming up, I think, in June. If people look out for that, what do? We have about 300 or 400 on. And what we're doing is we're doing maps of intent to bring all the satanic stuff, Disney, Hollywood, everything else, Big Pharma, all the governmental system, Masonic lodges, all these things before God for justice and release them to God with unconditional love and forgiveness. It's quite a complex thing, but it takes about an hour and a half. But the more people we have on, the better it is, because it's creating that. And then we do it as a God ritual where we reinstate it every day for 120 days. That helps break down all this nonsense going on in the world. And you never know what effect it's having on the planet. But if you join in, because people think, well, what can I do? We don't have that sort of money. Well, we've got the power of God, so that's way more than any type of money, So if people want to join that, it's free to join.
That'd be excellent. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to say in closing, J-Mac?
There's something I just want to pick your brain about a little bit, but if you can just hang around for 2 minutes once we're off the air.
Okay.
There we go.
It's nothing bad. It's just a personal question for me more than anything else.
A wee 1-to-1 after the credits roll,
A cheeky one. You need to try and take advantage where you can, right?
Brilliant. So yeah, everybody definitely go to the website, check out Dr. Macklin's stuff, and we'll definitely see him back on the show at a later date. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we will see you guys next Sunday at 9 p.m. live. Thanks again, guys. Have a great night.
God bless.
Thank you.